You tend to figure a lot of things out when you're living with a chronic illness. You figure out how to keep going, you figure out how to do your job, you figure out how to clean your house, maybe somewhat. But one thing still remains much of the time, and that would be rifts in our relationships. You keep chugging along, doing what you need to do, but you still feel like a burden pretty much on a daily. You don't know how to ask for help, or you do know how, but you don't really feel like anyone around you is listening or wants to help or knows how to help, even if you explain it. So you keep trying to do everything alone, which makes sense, but you usually push too hard. And that's why we focus on creating new relationship patterns, both with yourself and with the people around you. And that's why I've built the Allowed to Ask membership. Usually people keep trying to find the answers, but they're not really asking the right questions. They're trying to fix the problem, but they're not trying to get curious about the problem. With the way that time works these days, it feels like we don't have any time at all for anything, and it makes sense. But when you don't give your nervous system the time that it needs to prepare and develop and rewire appropriately, we fall back into the same traps over and over again. Changing your patterns, especially when you live with chronic pain, is challenging, and it brings up a lot of fear. That's why a lot of people don't want to do it, because it feels like another chore on top of the 10 chores you already have per hour living with your chronic illness. But when you live with it long enough, you start to realize that all you have left is your personal development. All you have left is your relationships. All you have left is the way that you relate to yourself and your body and the people around you. And that might sound hopeless, but I promise it's not. It actually is really eye-opening. It helps you focus on what's important to you in a way that previously you were able to distract from. And so while our old attachment patterns do make it really hard to set clear boundaries, ask for help, and pace ourselves, it's not impossible. And in fact, it's very possible, but it does often require help and support, which is kind of the crux of it all, right? So if you feel like it's really hard for you to make relationships, and you don't really know why, or you do know why and you want to work on that specific thing, I invite you to join the Allowed to Ask membership. This membership is rapidly growing with lots of resources where you'll gain prep for both the emotional and the physical side of living with a chronic illness.